Greetings, YouTube. I had a comment posted recently on my channel, and it's got me thinking. And I don't want to misquote the comment in question, so I'm going to quote it directly. The reason for difficulty in sex-related crimes is there often a lack of physical evidence, which leads to cases being judged on whose word is viewed as more trustworthy, and in such cases the only way to get more secure conviction would be to do what the media and many others do and go with a guilty until proven innocent system when it comes to sex crimes. And I don't know about you, but I stand by such a system. Now, I can kind of agree with the sentiment of that. But let's unpack that. Okay? So, if we have two people, a suspected abuser, sex abuser or rapist, and a claimed victim. Now, if the suspected abuser or rapist is in fact guilty and is in fact practiced at their craft, which is often the case, they're going to make an incredibly reliable and trustworthy witness. They've got their act down. Flat out. They can look you straight in the eye and they can tell you anything they want to, and you're going to believe them. Then you have the claimed victim who's been emotionally traumatized, potentially to the point where they're incapable of being a trustworthy witness for their own case. Simply cannot get the story out successfully without breaking down, without falling apart, without having gaps in their story because the trauma has prevented them from being able to articulate what they want to say in a smooth and legally acceptable manner, to be held to that high standard. So what happens? You've got someone that's coming off like silk, and you've got someone over here that's tattered and falling apart. Which one are you going to believe? Which one is going to get justice? I'm asking. I want to know from someone who's going to be this legalistically pedantic what happens in this case. What do we do? Do we ignore the victims? They're unreliable. They may not be able to get to the point in their lives where they can even talk about what happened to them for years, potentially decades, because of the trauma they've survived, because of what was done to them. So do we just tell them we don't believe you? Flat out. You are unreliable. We are never going to listen to what you have to say. So don't say it. Because if you unpack the statement I read, that quote I read, that is the consequence of that. That is what happens. That is what is happening in our world. Most people flat out don't believe the victims. The cops don't believe them. The prosecutors don't believe them. The judges don't believe them. Society doesn't believe them. They say they're making it up for attention. I can guarantee you, we don't want that kind of attention. They say they're doing it for the money. No, it isn't worth it. So what do we do as a society? Do we just tell the victims to be quiet? When I tell my story of sexual abuse, mine, do the legalistically pedantic simply not believe me? Do they remain quiet to humor me so as not to insult me? While thinking, well, he's just making that up. I've got no evidence, no proof, no nothing. What was done didn't leave any evidence. So, should my abusers, my suspected abusers, get to sue me for slander? I mean, I've named one of them here on my channel. So should he be able to sue me? Even after I confronted the man? And have him so ashamed he couldn't even look at me at the end? It was as close as I ever got to a guilty admission. I'm never going to get that. He's never going to stand up in court and say what he did. I mean, I can tell my story. He's never going to tell what happened. He's never going to admit to that. Even if the statute of limitations is run out. Why would he? Why would anybody? Since the abusers in this situation will always have the upper hand. What do the victims do? I have no wonderful wrap-up for this video. I want to know. If society says they want the perfect victim, what the fuck do we, the real victims, have to do to get justice? Because none of us are perfect. None of us have videotape showing what happened. None of us had our abusers hooked up to EKG readers or something to know what they were doing physically at the time. We weren't wired into medical equipment to find out what was going on during the event. There is no fucking evidence in almost all of these cases. So what do the victims do? I want an answer.